Hello, Checkmate here, and this is episode 7 of our Let's Play Kerbal Space Program series. And we're just going to get started here. In the last episode, we started doing some contracts just to try to get our money supply up a little bit. And we started by doing the survey contracts, where you conduct a survey of different locations. And in this episode, we are going to work on the space tourism contracts. So we're going to knock this one out. And then, as I mentioned in the last video, I'm going to show this one, but then off camera, I'm going to just grind out as many of these as I can, try to get our money stockpiled up a little bit. I do want to mention, last video, my music sound was a bit too loud, and it was drowning out my speech a little bit in some spots, so I turned it down in this one. Hopefully I got the setting right. If it's too loud in this one, then I'll turn it down some more in the next one. So we want to get started. We're going to be ferrying tourists up into space, into orbit, and to do that, we're going to use this Smart 1 crew cabin. Now this can carry 2 passengers, crew capacity of 2, and we will be landing this, obviously, because there's going to be some Kerbals in there. So we need to put a heat shield on the bottom, because this is going to be the part that's going to be hitting the atmosphere first. And since we're a little heavier than just the capsule, we need to go with some more parachutes. I think these are overkill, but I'd rather have more than I need and not crash and burn and kill off any of our passengers. So we probably will only deploy the two radial mount. I bring this one, really, I just have that on there for the aerodynamics, but it's also there if we need it. Now, for this one, we're going to be launching 2 stages. The second stage will actually go ahead and build that first. I think if I have 5 of these, with the Reliant engine, what does that give me? That's 2029. Now I've tested this, actually let's just show you what I'm building, because I did test this in my other game. It says it contains locked parts. I may be jumping the gun here. I may not have everything I need for this. Yeah, I think I need this. Alright, I'm going to try to get a little bit quick science here. I've loaded this plane up. I added a Science Junior to it, and I added a Mystery Goo. And I'm going to see if I can just drive around and collect some science in a spot, like over at the airplane hangar or somewhere like that. And I'll need to get about 20 or 25 science, so we're just going to drive over to here and see if we can get a little bit of science right here. I don't think I've been in this area yet, but I just wanted to show this on camera just so people see where I got the extra science from. Just trying to be, you know, full disclosure, show people what I'm doing so they don't think I'm, you know, just hacking in any money or any science or anything. I'm doing this as just a straight up playthrough with no cheats. So I don't know if this will work or not, but we're going to try it and see. I think I can drive all around here actually and get some different science. But I'm going to slow down a little bit before I turn here. I think if I just get in this area, I should be on the space plane. Ooh, that's a little bumpy. Let's see where we're at. I'll do a crew report here. From SPH. So we're getting science from here. So I'm going to transmit that. The goo, I won't be able to transmit. Well, I could, but I can only use it one time, so I might as well get the full science for that. And get rid of the goo. But the temperature, that I will transmit. The barometer will transmit. How much battery we got. Good on battery. I do have the solar panels to recharge those. And then the Science Junior, we've got to just collect this. 6, that's not bad. Okay, let's drive over to, this looks like the tracking station there. Then we've got, or actually that might be the administrative building. Oh, this looks closer. Let's drive over to here. Let's see if we can get the temperature. I wonder if I EVA, if I can, I can't store data in this. It's not like the, I can do an EVA report here, I bet. Yeah, take that. Oh, I can store it. I wasn't sure if I could store that or not. So that's good. So we'll board back up, drive over to this other building over here. Let's see what we can get. So let's take the brakes off, throttle up a little bit, turn this way. I know this is kind of a it's an expensive rover, I guess you could say, but it's a lot quicker than walking. It takes forever to walk from one place to another, so just need more science. Always need more science. If I had brought a scientist with me, I could have reset this. I probably should have done that. Speed up here a little bit. Going over to this, I think this is the research building now. Astronaut complex. Okay, this is a crew report, so I can take that. Can do an EVA. We will take data, store, and then an EVA report here. Store that, board back up, and we can take a temperature. Alright, let's go. I'm not sure what this little building is. This administrative building over here, maybe? don't want to go too fast. Nice. Wish I'd put more mystery glue on here. So I'm going to go ahead and take the full one here, and we'll go ahead and recover and see where we're at. See how much we got there. $21, so we're up to 50. And that is enough. So now we can proceed with this build here. Alright. So as I was saying, I did build this passenger space orbiter. Now this says it has 33 parts on it. So what we'll do, we'll take off the nav, one of the nav light. I think I could probably get by without two of these. Probably these two can go. I have had this tip over on the launch pad, so I put that on there. So that gets us to 30 parts. Now a couple of points to note. I just wanted to show. Down here at the bottom, we have a control wheel. Because this engine, this is the Reliant, and it does not have the gimbaling. So in order to have better control, I had to put a control wheel down here. And there's another one at the top up here. I'm not going to show you that one, but between these sections here, I put another one in between here. So that gets us within all of our parameters, I believe, 30 of 30. We're under our weight because we did upgrade the launch pad. Hatch obstructed, that's the hatch for this section. It's actually on the bottom here. And we have a heat shield over it, so but we won't need that. Can't transmit science. We do have some monopropellant, but there's no point in paying for that. So we can take that out. It's not much, but every little bit helps. Now let's take a look at this here. Our delta V at sea level is 35.47, but when we go to a vacuum, we're 40, almost 42. For our thrust, our first stage, we're at 1.35. The second stage, it's still a little low. Second stage is 1.92. I like that to be a little over, around 2.15, somewhere in that neighborhood. But that's the best I could get. I did have the swivel engine here, and this was even lower. This is like 1.7. So I changed this engine out to the Reliant. It gave us a little more thrust. It didn't really change the delta V much, but it did give us a little more thrust for that upper stage. So that's why I made that change. So go through the staging, we'll fire off our engines, and right away we'll blow these, what are those called? Stability enhancer. we'll fire off our solid rockets, blow the stability enhancer. And then when the solid rockets are through, they'll detach, and our second stage will kick in, and that will carry us all the way into orbit. It should have enough left over to deorbit, and then once we've done our retrograde burn to deorbit, then we'll separate, and it'll auto-deploy. The chutes will charge, but they won't actually come out until we meet the atmospheric requirements, which is 0.4, I think, on these. Yeah, 0.04. So I think that's it. Let's load up some crew members and give this a shot. So here's our first two. Actually, I want to save this. Yeah. So let's give it a shot. See this thing already moving around. Alright, throttle up, SAS engaged, and lift off. About 50, I'm going to start listing over to the east a little bit. I want to get that retrograde marker over to about 5 degrees, and I'm just going to lock it on retrograde. And we will let Jebediah pilot it from here. Now, I have been trying to practice keeping my heading correct. As I go. Just gotta push that marker down a little bit at a time. It's about 92. I'd like to get it to 90. Nice separation there. We're on a 90-degree heading, so I'm just gonna let this ride on out. So I'm gonna watch my apoapsis. As soon as I hit about 72 kilometers, I'm gonna cut my engines, and we'll let it drift on up into space from there. Looking good so far. 35 kilometer apoapsis. .45. Delta V still looking pretty good. 65. 72. Alright, we'll cut it right there and let that drift. So we're 1 minute and 42 seconds from our apoapsis. And we still have about 1600 Delta V left. And we're going to use most of that achieving our orbit. I'm going to put this back on the stability assist and just go into a horizon. We're just going to align with the horizon there. I'm going to let this get down to about 40 seconds, and then I'm going to start slow burning and just make sure I can keep this apoapsis out in front of me. I want to stay as close to it as I can without passing it. We're at 40 seconds, so I'm going to go ahead and start throttling up a bit. There's the music. So we're now above 70 kilometers. We're actually in space now. Yep, we're in space. This is starting to push away from me now, so I'm going to throttle way back down, draw it into me. I just wanted to get enough speed up so that I could push it away from me. So now whenever I want to, I throttle up and I can push it back out. Throttle back down. So now we'll get this inside of around 10 seconds and sort of keep it there. Because if you notice, my apoapsis is already up to 75, so the closer I can stay to this without crossing it, the less this number will come up. So that'll help us keep us more of a circular orbit. And I am watching my delta V, but we should have enough. But I'll reserve, if we get down to 50 and there's not enough, well, we need to have at least 50 to do our retrograde burn to get ourselves out of orbit, so I'll make sure to keep that much in the tank in case we need it. We're in positive territory on our apoapsis or periapsis now. As soon as we hit 70, I'm just going to bring it into me a little bit more. We're almost there. And we're there. 76 by 73, we have 270 meters of delta V left. That's plenty to deorbit. And we have these two individuals here. We have achieved suborbital and then orbital. So that is good to go. That contract will be complete as soon as we get these people home. Now, as far as deorbit is concerned, I'd like to come down in the water just because I don't want to land somewhere that may end up being mountains. And one thing you can do, you see this desert airfield? If we deorbit here, get it down to about 30-kilometer periapsis, that will land us in the water every time. So I'm going to go ahead and warp to here. And then this way, every time we do one of these contracts, we'll just deorbit from the same spot, and we'll always land in water. We won't have to worry about losing anybody rolling down a hill. Push on ahead to about right here. Alright. So now what we have to do is just go retrograde. And don't forget to do your deorbit burn before you separate. I have done that before. It's very frustrating. So we're now in retrograde, so I'm just going to burn until I get this down to about 30. That's good enough. Alright. Now we can ditch this section. I'm just going to point it towards the planet here. Oh, it's fighting me. It's trying to go back to retrograde. Alright, we'll separate here. Go back to retrograde. And let's fast forward. As soon as we get to 70, this will stop on its own, like that. And here we go. Turn on some lights for our passengers. Just watching the electric charge, because I think using the pilot's using some electric charge to steer this thing to keep it on retrograde. I haven't tested the aerodynamics of this setup here to see if it will just flow naturally like the capsule does. I'll probably do that off camera one day, just test it and see how it flies by itself. But until then, I just keep it locked on retrograde and let Jebediah do all the work. And every now and then I'll go back to standard speed just to make sure it doesn't need to correct. Not sure what that is. Passenger spaceport. Okay, that's our debris. So we'll be coming out of the worst of it here in just a second. Alright. The chute's auto-deployed because I had them set up on the separation stage. And they're set to 1,000 meters to fully open up. Watch the green bars here. See, so the G's went up quite a bit when they open. I have had passengers where these green bars go way up here. I don't know if that would be enough to make a passenger pass out or not. I think they all have different tolerances or something, but I'm not really sure what you can do about that, if anything. Guess we could have less parachute. I'm probably falling much slower than I need to. Because it turns out these the crew cabin can actually, I think it can take about a 40 meter per second impact. It's sturdier than the command module is. And there's splashdown. So we'll recover that, and the contract is complete. Didn't get any science, but we're now up to 471,000. So let's see if it gave me any new ones. Nope, it did not. So I'm probably going to have to go through here and get rid of some of these. I did set it up to where if I decline, I do not take a penalty. Let's see if that gave us any new ones. Nope, it did not. We'll go out of it and come back in and see. Well, we may not be doing my plan after all. Because all these are want me to position satellites or rescue mission. So anyway, I'll probably do this one off camera or something like that. See if it opens up some more. But I did want to just show you the two types of missions there. So like I say, off camera I'm going to do, if I can get some more of them to spawn, I'm going to do some more of these survey missions or some of these passenger missions. Just try to get our money up and just show you where I'm at now. So I have, oh, why did I think I accepted that. I thought I didn't know I accepted that mission. Oops. So anyway, this is what I have completed so far. If you're interested, if you want to keep track of me, make sure I'm not cheating, and then when I come back on, I'll update. I'll show you this screen again so you can see if I can get any more. I might not be able to get any more right now. But that's it for this episode. Thanks for watching. Next time I see you, hopefully we'll be sending some Kerbals to orbit the moon. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.